This happens to me every once in a while. I'll be out of doors working on a project. I put my knife down for a moment, and then a moment later I can't find it. And then the search begins. Hello, I'm Scott Foster. This week on Rain Country, we're not searching for a knife, but we're searching for some of the elements that are closer to the essence of life, like the location of our home and the place of our work. Many of us came to Southeast to be closer to the water and to be nearer to the woods. And one Southeast couple got even closer. They live on the water and work in the woods.
I think in this line of work, the way we do it, it's probably just a little bit more than a job. It's a lifestyle.
For logging and construction camp owner Virgil Soderberg, that lifestyle consists of a barge, a raft of floats, and a 24-man crew anchored in Winter Harbor on the northwest side of Prince of Wales Island. He's following in the footsteps of his father, longtime logger Pat Soderberg, and the son says life on the floating camp for him was the only way to go.
I prefer the float. Give it a choice. A little bit more effort probably, but I think there is a little bit more special flavor to life on the water. You might enjoy a tranquil evening sitting out here on the float, but I think you would probably enjoy a stormy evening in the fall and winter, probably a little bit more on. You know, we've had the cookie jar fall off the refrigerator at night. Big crash.
Soderberg runs K.A., who's from Haines. She says her job description consists of a little.
I do all of the office work, pay the bills, do the payroll, oversee the cookhouse and the camp. When you have a problem like with no notice, then I'm it. So yeah, my day's quite full. It never seems to be a dull moment. There's always something.
For K.A., being the only woman at the camp they call the Barge Inn isn't that unusual. It's just part of the job.
I don't really notice it until I get around some other women or another woman, and then it's so nice to talk to someone of the same gender, and we generally end up talking about men and all their faults. But it's not too bad. Like I say, otherwise I don't notice it. I keep very, very busy. And some of the guys are my best friends. Well, yes, you have to look after them. They can't seem to look after themselves. You have to be their mom.
Just have a couple of them.
And they took their vegetables. In fact, I had to make some more last night.
Soderberg's logging and road crews work long hours. They're up at 4 a.m., out to the job site between 6 and 7, and then a long day of clearing timber and building roads so that larger logging crews can come in to harvest the timber stands. Some have been in the business for nearly 20 years. Then there are others, like newcomer Ethan Turner, who joined his father at the camp shortly after graduating from high school.
And I just came up here because I've always wanted to come up and work here and live here. Because I like Alaska and I like, you know, I like hunting and fishing, and this is a place to go if you want to do that sort of thing. And I just wanted to try something different.
The scenery is beautiful. Fishing, you have the hunting, the beauty of the area, except for your family and the wife. I couldn't ask for anything more.
The construction crew's work begins with tree faller Perry Apostolus, who clears a right-of-way with his axe and chainsaw. A 15-year veteran of the forest, Apostolus says he likes the job because he enjoys working outdoors.
That's what I like about it, the exercise. You know, you feel like you've done something at the end of the day. Every tree is different. You just walk up to it, look at it, and, you know, you figure it out. If it's going to be dangerous, how to get away from it, where to go. Sometimes they do things you don't expect, but just tree by tree. Well, I've cut myself a few times. I've had a few close calls. You're gonna, you know, the tops come out or the tree's hollow and it acts funny when you're falling it. bounce up against another tree and shake stuff out of it, or that's probably the most dangerous thing, is stuff coming down from other trees that they bump into, and a lot of that's just luck. You know, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're going to get hit. But you have to be cautious.
Although the Barge Inn has many of the amenities of life, electricity, fresh vegetables, satellite television, there are some things they encounter which people who live in town don't. Like the time they moved the floating camp by tug over 200 miles from Hawk Inlet on Admiralty Island to the float's present site at Winter Harbor. K.A. says it was a beautiful cruise, until a major storm blew in from the Gulf, and for a while she wasn't sure the rafts would survive the wind and the waves.
I stood out here and felt the logs roll and went inside a little bit and heard all the chorus of creaking and groaning and cracking happening inside the house. The cats were really good, but they were scared to death. And watch, and just watch as all our hard work was destroyed. A lot of hard work was destroyed. Yeah, you think about having a 9-to-5 job or an 8-to-5 job and how would it be not having to worry where the money's coming from for the payroll? How would it be to go home on the weekends and not have to think about your job? And sometimes that sounds nice, and other times you think, how boring.
The Soderbergs do say they have moments when big city luxuries have a certain appeal.
Oh, sure. I love to go to town. Get caught up in all the movies, drive cars, walk on sidewalks. That's a real nice feature right there. Up here, you know, the roads aren't paved, and when you do go for a walk, you have to share your walkway with a logging truck. Going out to restaurants. Really enjoying, you know, the finer things in life in a big city. I don't think anybody appreciates them as much as we do because we're not there that often. And you do have to get out. And when you're down there, then you have to come back.
The phone is another factor that we do miss. Generally, almost gives me a heart attack when we're in a hotel sometime and the phone rings next to the bed. But quite often it's a trip to town just to use the phone.
But despite, or maybe because of the lack of phones, neighbors, sidewalks, or traffic, Virgil and K.A. Soderberg say living and working on the Barge Inn is the life for them.
Yes, live right out here amongst the land that I love. Watch the good days and appreciate them, and get excited and adventurous on the bad days when things are happening, and have a camaraderie with the crew. I like that.